Tonight we're going to take a look at why was a biblical theory that makes accurate predictions ignored for decades. And I said, dear blank, thank you for the article, in your fall edition. In the writer's attempt to show a flaw in the hydroplate theory, he actually brought up another confirmed prediction by Dr. Walt Brown. Why didn't the writer mention that Dr. Brown predicted olivine would be found in comets and asteroids at least 5 years before NASA discovered it? Because I went into ChatGPT and I said, when did Walt Brown predict olivine and comets? And it said 2001 and before. And then it said NASA discovered it in 2005. And so there's another accurate prediction, but the writer ignores it. And this brings us to the elephant in the room. Why was a biblical flood model that makes accurate predictions ignored for decades? Why is a biblical theory that is validated by NASA discoveries disregarded in favor of a theory that doesn't make predictions or have specific biblical support? Why do authors neglect to mention the astoundingly accurate predictions made using the hydroplate theory? And I gave them a link, and I said, Walt Brown offered $10,000 to anyone with an earned PhD degree to participate in a written debate. Nobody accepted. Not even the creationists who were maligning him. And Standing for Truth Ministries on YouTube has an open microphone for anyone who wants to participate in a roundtable discussion about the strengths and weaknesses of each theory. But CPT experts decline this invitation. We've been trying to put this together for over a year, and they come up to excuse after excuse. And so we finally just had a hydroplate seminar instead of a roundtable discussion. And Dr. Thomas Chamberlain wrote a famous paper over 100 years ago. He argued that there should always be multiple working hypotheses so people could sharpen their analytical skills, think critically, and compare and contrast. Otherwise, people just memorize and conform. Only presenting one theory as dogma is what the evolutionists do. Christians should have a higher standard. Since there are two flood models, they should both be presented fairly so people can think critically instead of just memorize. Hopefully, creation organizations and museums will set the example and lead us out of the dark ages of consensus science. It'll be interesting to see who will be the first to let my people think about flood models. Yeah, that's all we're asking. Well, just let people think, And then the consensus science, that's a train wreck. We saw what happened in COVID. The consensus, you got to have the consensus, and those can be corrupt as can be. And now we're seeing there's even the consensus science in creation models with the flood. Nearly all the creationists believe in plate tectonics, and all these, that's the consensus. Let's look at the theory, and what I'd really like is let's compare accurate predictions.